Hi, everyone, and welcome to Inside AWai. This month's topic is getting your foot in the door with clients. My name is Rebecca Matter, and I'm joined by Katie Yeakle. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, everybody.
We're super excited. Not only do we love Inside AWai every month because we get to talk to you and work with you directly, but we love this topic, too. I think this is one of the things that is the most scary to new writers. How am I actually going to get clients? What do I actually do to get my foot in the door? So today we're going to demystify all of that and give you some things that you can do. So our goals for today, for this session, we're going to go through our material and then we will open it up for questions. We're in the Q&A box right now, so you can post questions. Whoever's not speaking will answer for you. If you're watching this as a recording, you can always send in questions as well. And then we'll open it up at the end for a live Q&A. So if you have additional questions that didn't get answered or things that come up at the end, you will be able to ask them. So our goals for today for this session, though, the first one is just what your goals are when connecting with clients. We want to make sure that you're on the same page just to know what your intentions are when reaching out. We're going to talk about proven strategies for actually making connections. And we'll talk about how to start the conversation. What happens once you get your foot in the door? What do you say? How do you get in there? And what does that conversation look and sound like? And then finally, the do's and don'ts of marketing yourself to prospects. Little typo there. Just making sure that you don't make any of these little mistakes when reaching out, things that can stop a conversation from moving forward. So first things first, getting your foot in the door. So your goals, I want to go over this because you might just think like, hey, I'm going to pick up a phone, I'm going to talk to someone, I'm going to send an email, I'm going to talk to somebody, I'm going to reach out on LinkedIn, and I'm going to land this job. That's my goal. But that's not really the goal when we're talking about getting your foot in the door. That's not the goal for your first connection. Your goal when you're getting your foot in the door is just to make a connection. All you want to do is connect with someone in that company and start a conversation. It's like going up to somebody at a bar and saying, hi, my name is Rebecca. All I'm looking for is for them to turn around, shake my hand back, and say, hi, my name is whatever, and start that conversation. The chance of you walking through the front door and proposing, let's say, social media content to me or a newsletter service or whatever it is, and me needing it right this minute, it's probably not going to happen. Like 99% of the time, I'm going to be doing something else. So you want to start this conversation. You want to make this connection and start building up this relationship so that when I'm ready, and that might be tomorrow, it might be next week, it might be 3 months from now, but that when I'm ready, you're the person that comes to my mind right away. I already know and trust you, and I have this relationship with you, even though we haven't worked together yet. So it kind of takes a little bit of pressure off, right? Because now when you call somebody or you reach out, in whatever format, whichever way you want to reach out, whatever you're the most comfortable with, it doesn't matter. No one way works better than the other. The best marketing method is the one that you're actually going to do. So whatever makes you the most comfortable. If you're a great cold caller, go for it. Pick up the phone. If you prefer email, you can do email, you can do LinkedIn, you can do whatever makes you feel most comfortable. But take the pressure off yourself. You're not looking to like sell a car today, right? You're just trying to start a relationship. So that's your first goal. Then your goal, once you've made that connection, is to prove your expertise. You want to come across right away as a professional. You're not someone asking a favor, looking for a handout. Even if you're brand new and you've never had a client, if you've taken any programs with AWI and you've done the training, you have skills that you're bringing to the table. You are representing yourself as a professional. It's just like a dentist who gets out of dental school. Day one, he doesn't walk around saying, I'm an inexperienced dentist. No, he's an experienced dentist who has this skill set now, and now he's ready to perform in exchange for fees. So that's where you're coming from. Day one, you are a professional. So you want to show that person, show that potential client that you're a professional and prove the expertise that you have in their area, whether it's copywriting, web writing, B2B, expertise in their industry, if you've worked in that space before, a passion for the topic, if you love alternative supplements, and you take a lot of them, that could be your expertise, but you want to have that opportunity. Then you want to demonstrate your value. What do you bring to the table? It's a basic copywriting concept, but what's in it for me, the buyer? What's in it for me, the client? What can you do for me? What value do you bring? Why should I pay you for something? So knowing and demonstrating your value during this conversation. And then again, just starting a conversation. We're not looking for marriage on day one, right? We're not going to walk up to someone in the bar, hi, my name is Rebecca Matter. Would you like to marry me? we're going to start a conversation. Maybe we sit down and have a drink. Maybe we go out for dinner the next night, and then the relationship develops. Your goal with getting your foot in the door is just to start that conversation and begin a relationship. So hopefully now we're all on the same page. And again, I feel like this takes the pressure off. It makes it not so scary anymore. You're not trying to go out and land a job today. You're just trying to make some friends, right? Make some connections and provide some value to people out there in your industry. So now let's talk about how you actually get your foot in the door. So we're going to start this presentation with the harder one. And the reason why I want to do this is that these are really strong ways to get your foot in the door. They are going to take more work, but the reason I want to share them with you is because they have really great results, okay? So these are ways to get your foot in the door, but you're going to have to do a little bit of prep work before you do this. Building a business is not a gunshot thing. You're not just going to cast your net as wide as you can, mail 10,000 people, and hope that 5 people contact you back. We want to be strategic. We want to go after clients that we want to work for, right, that are right for us, that are right for the projects that we want to take on, that are in the right industry, that have good marketing budgets and value their marketing and value their cooperators. Those are the ideal clients. And we've done sessions in Inside AWI on getting clients. So or choosing your niche, who the right clients are, figuring out your marketing message, all of that. This presentation assumes that you know that stuff, that you're ready to go. You know that I want to work for companies in the solar technology niche, or I want to work for companies in the mommy market, or whatever your niche is. If you don't have that yet, that's okay. We're going to give you links to the other Inside AWI presentations that cover those topics. So we have a presentation on picking a niche. We have one on choosing your marketing message, because once you get your foot in the door, you're going to have to talk about your business, so you're going to want to have that. But what I'm going to tell you today is just how to actually get your foot in the door. So we're going to go over 5 really strong ways. And then we're going to give you like 8 to 10 other ways at the end that are faster, that are less work. But again, I want to start with these because they're the most effective, especially at landing clients that you really want to work for. So the first way that I want to cover is called a money-making website. If you're not familiar with this, a money-making website is a website on a topic that people are searching about. So for example, Nick Usborne, who's the expert behind money-making websites, the program that teaches you how to do this, he loves coffee. So he has a website called Coffee Detective that is targeting people looking for information on coffee, whether it's researching how to make coffee, how to make cold press coffee, how to use different coffee machines, whatever. His website has tons of information for anyone interested in coffee. So of course, anybody who's selling to coffee drinkers, any companies who are selling to coffee drinkers, are going to be interested in his money-making website. So the idea behind this is that you create a website on a topic in the industry that you want to write for anyways. So the basic plan with this, and again, this is top level. This is not about, detail on how to make a money-making website. Many of you have already gone down that path. You have a money-making website. This is more about turning one into a client-getting tool, as well as, if you haven't done one yet, how to create one intentionally, to pick the market that you want to work for, and then create a money-making website on a topic that will attract those clients. I'm going to show you how to do that. But the basic plan is that you put up a website on a specific topic people are interested in, and then choose a topic that attracts, I'm going to show you an example of this, but choose a topic that attracts readers that companies are interested in targeting. So a coffee maker company is going to be interested in coffee drinkers. That's going to be their target audience. So Nick Usborne has a website targeting coffee drinkers, so that indirectly he's got a whole bunch of companies who want to reach his audience, right? Hopefully that makes sense. And then once you have your website up, money-making website is all about writing content. You basically, remember I talked about showing your value and demonstrating your expertise? You basically just sit back and write good content. You get to show your value. It's an amazing sample, because not only are you proving that you can write, you're proving that you can do web copy, and you're proving that you know the topic that you're hopefully wanting to work in. So you write great content to show your value. So let's look at an example. Let's say, and this is exactly how I would launch my business if I was doing this all over again. Let's say I want to work for the mommy market, okay? I'm going to put a website together about new mom safety, what to never do with your baby when you bring them home from the hospital, how to bathe them properly, what kind of gates you should put up, when you need to move them to a crib or keep them in your room, all of this stuff. I'm going to write all of this content that new moms are desperately searching for. And if you look at the search results or search traffic for this kind of website, it's huge. Being a mom myself, when I brought home, before I even brought home the baby, I was just devouring content, books and websites, and I wanted to make sure that my house was as safe as possible when I brought this little life home. Big topic, right? Lots of people searching, lots of new moms. Clients that I'm looking for are companies that are selling safety products as well as other new mom products. Even though my website is about baby safety, and that's going to be great I'm going to have a lot of companies who are going to want presence on my website because I've got all these new moms who are listening to me. So if you're selling a safety bathtub, a safety gate, a safety monitor, anything, you're going to want to talk to me because I've got a bunch of people who are listening to me talk about safety. So you want me to talk about your products to my people, as well as other new mom products, nursing products and feeding products and all that stuff. It's all relevant because my audience, they're moms, they're new moms, and eventually they're going to be, moms with 3-month-old, moms with 6-month-old. Other products might be relevant as well. And so I'm just going to write articles. I'm going to write articles on baby proofing and reviews about baby proofing products, which are the best bathtubs, which are the best gates. I'm going to have lots of great content that new moms are going to want to find out, and I'm going to have a lot of companies who are going to want to work with me. So then how do you get your foot in the door? I have this website up. I've been working on it for a little while. Let's say I've got 50 pages written. I've got this amazing portfolio now of samples. Here are some ways that I'm going to get my foot in the door. I'm going to write a review of their product. I'm going to contact manufacturer of safety baby tub ABC, and I'm going to write a review on their product. And then I'm going to go to that company and say, hey, I just wrote a review on your product. I'd love for you to come check it out and tell me what you think. Let me know if anything is inaccurate so that I can update it, right? How stress-free is that? You just walked right in the door and said, hey, I'm giving you something, a free review on my website. Great. Well, now the door is open. Now they're going to come back to you and say, hey, we looked at your review. That's so great. What else can we do? It's very just stress-free because you're getting to give them something. The second thing you can do is to be an affiliate and actually write sales pages that promote their products or services. Once again, you go to them. I mean, if you're someone's best affiliate, they're going to talk to you about anything else that you want to talk about, including writing copy for their websites and emails. But write a sales page that promotes their product or service. You're doing yourself a favor anyways because now you're going to be selling products on your own website, which your money-making website is now a revenue generator for your business. But now you're going back to the company and saying, hey, I wrote this great sales page. Come check it out. Tell me what's inaccurate. What else would you like me to add? Me, the client, the baby tub manufacturer who's coming to look at your website, you're basically getting me to read a sample of your sales writing ability. You're basically telling me to read a sample in a way that's totally in it for me. I want you to sell my product. I'm excited to read your sample. And now you're demonstrating your expertise. So you've got me to read your sample, and now you're getting to prove what a great sales letter writer you are, right? The last one is to write content relevant to their industry. I'm going to write an article on the best way to bathe a baby. Safety products, safety bathing 101. Hey, manufacturer of baby tub ABC, I would love to quote you as an expert in the industry. What would you tell me, what would your answer be to this question, right? I want to quote them. I want to quote, manufacturer Rebecca Matter said blah, 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 blah about baby safety. They love those opportunities. That is free press, free publicity. You're basically offering to put them in front of their audience as an expert so that when people are looking for baby tubs, hey, Rebecca Matter is an expert on baby safety, happens to be associated with this bathtub. I need to buy this bathtub. So you're writing content that's good for your website, and it's getting your foot in the door again with a client. You haven't even tried to sell yourself yet, but now you have a relationship, and you can now follow up. Hey, Rebecca, it was so great talking about that content piece. I was looking at your website too, and I noticed that you're not doing emails or your social media looks like this or whatever. Now the door is open, your foot is already in, you already have a relationship, and you started by creating great value. So why it works? One, their audience trusts you, right? I'm a baby manufacturer. People aren't going to trust me as much because I'm trying to sell you something. But you, the money-making website owner, your audience trusts you. You're just trying to help them out. So who better to recommend products? Who's going to build more trust and credibility with the audience? You. Of course, I'm going to say that the bathtub is great. I made it. But you, as a third-party, unbiased website owner, you're going to tell the truth. I'm going to trust you more as a new mom. So you have their audience's attention, and they trust you. You're attempting to add revenue to their bottom line. Who's not going to take that call, right? As the marketer or the client, they're going to listen to you every time because you're basically adding money to their bottom line without them doing anything other than opening the door and reviewing your content for you. It gives them an opportunity to see you in action, so they get to see your website, and your website should look good. You should work really hard on your copy because your money-making website is an asset. It's building you revenue anyways. It's adding an income stream for your business. So you want it to be awesome, but also it's a great sample. So it gives them a chance without you having to say, hey, I want to work for you, come look at my samples. You're basically getting them to read your samples and hope that you want to work for them because they've seen what you can do. And then finally, especially in that content example of asking for a quote, what if their competitor takes you up on the offer? What if the XYZ baby tub manufacturing company is the one that gives you the quote instead of them, right? I'd rather give you the quote. I want to be the one featured on your website, not my competitor. So that is the money-making website method for getting your foot in the door. Again, it's not fast and easy. It's not a, get in there and get a bunch of clients tomorrow. It's a little more slow and steady, but it's a lot less stressful. You build an asset at the same time, so you're building a passive income stream for your copywriting business, and at the same time creating a getting client tool that you can use to bring clients in, which is great for those of us who aren't super confident about getting out there and pitching ourselves. You didn't even have to pitch yourself. You can wait until you're comfortable and then say, hey, I can do this for you too, which leads us to opportunity number 2 to get your foot in the door, called the basic audit. So with the basic audit, you're basically looking for opportunities and things that they could do differently or opportunities for you to add value to their business. You could audit their website. You could audit their social media, their sales funnels. Funnels are basically somebody puts their name and information down that they're interested, and a series of emails follow trying to sell them into something. The autoresponder series is the automated part of that. The emails go automatically. Content marketing, what does their content marketing plan look like? No matter what area of writing you get into, you can do an audit in for that type of project. So it can be anything, but your goal here is to know what kind of assignments you want to do and then audit the clients that you want to work for to look for those opportunities. So we're looking for missed opportunities. Maybe they're not on social media. Maybe they're not running funnels or autoresponders. We're looking for challenges that can be fixed, things that are wrong, that are broken, pages that are run into dead ends, just opportunities where if they just tweaked it a little bit or they changed something, it would work better. And then ideas that can be expanded. Hey, I see that you've got this great sales letter on this idea, but what about if it was like this? Or if you made this bigger by going to this audience, or have you ever tried, making it bigger. So you're looking at what they're currently doing and looking for opportunities or weaknesses to fix. Some basic examples just to give you some ideas. So these are all real examples that have come to me in the last year or so, within the last year. So the first person was a search engine optimization copywriter, SEO, and she audited the AWI website. I didn't ask her to, I didn't pay her to do it. She just came to me and said, hey, did you know you've got a major flaw on your homepage? She talked about the key phrases that we were optimizing for. She talked about the product descriptions and how wrong they were and how they could be fixed, right? I didn't ask her for that, but man, did she have my attention. And did I go to marketing and tell them, hey guys, we're messing up and you need to listen to this person and we need to figure this out. So now she's demonstrated her expertise in a nice way. It wasn't like, hey, can you believe that you did this and your marketing team screwed up? And it was very helpful. It was, I've looked at this. Would you like me to look at more of your pages? Yeah, please do, because you found a huge flaw on the home page, the most important page on my website. Please, I would love to hire you to do the rest of my website. Social media audit. We had somebody look at our social media. We were on Instagram, and this is a true story from Web Intensive. She may be on the phone now, but she came to me and said, I see that you're on Instagram, but all you're showing is events, high-end training events. But really, the majority of your audience isn't going to go to training events. They want to do writing from anywhere in the world. They want to know what the actual writing life looks like. That's not the writer's life. The writer's life is not going to a conference. The writer's life is working in your pajamas, sitting on your back patio, working at the beach, wherever you work, the flexibility, the freedom of it. That's the writer's life. She's like, I want to take over your Instagram account and show real pictures of the writer's life. Like, let's have an Instagram takeover where you have a new writer every week sharing photos of their office and where they're writing from, and huge, right? Yeah, I'll take that. That's such a well-executed or well-thought-of idea. We were using the social media channel wrong, and now she's going to get a huge contract with us starting September 1st. And she stayed on. She brought it up in March, but she has followed up every single month. Remember, I told you it's not about landing on day one. So yes, she had to wait until September 1st, but she's been doing a lot of other client work ever since. I met her at the Web Intensive, so she's been doing a lot of web writing. So I know that she has the skills because I met her at the Web Intensive, And she's just been following up, and now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. So who am I going to go to? Her. And then the last one, new member onboarding process. This is when a new member comes into AWAI. You guys know, we got a lot of stuff, right? We have a lot of programs. Where do you start? What happens next? What's the expected time it's going to take me to get through this stuff? What are all these questions that I have, and where do I find the answers? And somebody pointed that out. You know, I joined AWAI 6 months ago, and I'm here now, and I'm successful. But, man, I could have done it a whole lot faster if somebody had told me A, B, and C. That would have helped me move forward and be successful faster. Great. Let's talk about that. Can you write that for me? Because you clearly are in the mindset of the new member, whereas I've been with the company for 13 years. I forget what it's like. And we had 8 products back then, and now we have 140. So we're a different company. So we forget what it's like to come in on day one. So she recommended some ideas for this onboarding, and now we're working with her on building that. So those are just some examples. So think about what things you want to write. Think about the companies that you want to write for. And we've done other Inside AWAI sessions on finding the right clients for you, but picking the top 10 clients that you want to write for, and then doing audits, figuring out ways that you can just be helpful, just provide value. Again, think of the SEO example. All she did was tell me about the homepage, and then ended with, would you like me to continue reviewing your website? So she did this one thing for free, and now she was able to prove her value, prove her expertise. Of course, I want you to do the rest of my pages. Here are the next 20 pages that I feel are next important. So why does it work? It's pretty obvious. It provides value right out of the gate. You're not calling me saying, hey, what can you do for me? You're saying, here's what I can do for you, and you've proven your expertise. It's very specific to the client. I get about a dozen emails every day, if not every week, if not every day, of people trying to sell me their services. I'm a marketer, so, you know, search engine optimization, website building, graphic design, you name it. Someone's trying to sell me every single day. I delete 99.9% of those emails because I can tell they were written to anyone. It could be any company who's opening it. It's not to me. I don't have time to read emails from someone that I don't have any connection with. Remember, your goal is to make a connection here. You send me an email though and say, hey, I audited your homepage and here's a flaw, I'm going to read that email. Every single time I'm going to read that email. It's very specific to me. You wrote it to me. It demonstrates an extremely high level of professionalism. Again, imagine this SEO person. I get an SEO email weekly. I can get you #1 on Google. I can do this for you. Well, if AWAI isn't ranked on, I don't care. That's not, you know, you're not actually showing me that you can do anything. And I have a lot of SEO copywriters I could go to. This person showed me specifically how professional and what I could expect from working with her. And finally, it sets you up for an easy proposal, because the minute you tell them, hey, here's something that could be fixed, who better to do it than you? You understand it, you found it, so you should be the one to set it in the proposal and say, and here's what I can do to fix it or continue this audit, this project. It's just a great, great, great entry. And then I'm going to do one more before I hand it over to Katie. This third one is the easiest one of all of these. It goes along with the audit. These all go hand in hand, right? The money-making websites gets you to identify who the clients are. You already have a connection with them now because you've given them great content, you've given them reviews, you've already engaged with them. You can easily go into an audit from there, like, hey, by the way, I looked at your website. You know, I'm optimizing for X, Y, and Z. I looked at your website, and you're not doing that. Or I happen to know that emails are very effective in this space, and I noticed that you're not doing any autoresponder emails. The audit is very easy to do, especially with the money-making website. You don't have to combine them, but they obviously go hand in hand. And then the new idea, you can do this by itself, or it can bridge off of the audit as well. But the new idea is just that, coming up with a new idea. Calling up the client and saying, have you ever thought about X, Y, Z? The best practice with the new idea, just like anything else, is to be thoughtful. Think about who their audience is, what the price point is, what their intention is. So if you're telling me, hey, have you ever thought about mailing the accelerated program for 6-figure copywriting as a postcard? Nope, that's not going to work because that's a $500 product. It's going to require a lot more convincing than a postcard is going to allow me or is going to afford me. So you have to be thoughtful about who the audience is, what they're trying to sell, and what the intention is. Like, what is it? Is it a lead gen thing where we're just trying to get someone to raise their hand and say, I'm interested? Or are we trying to sell them a $500 product? So just be thoughtful when you're coming up with your ideas. Think about those things. Be very specific. If the girl who did the Instagram account just came to me and said, hey, you're not on Instagram, that's not enough. You know, the fact that she said, here's my idea for Instagram, it was very specific, and it had very you could tell that she had thought about the audience. They want to see the writer's life. They don't want to see conferences. That makes sense. That's so valuable. So be specific. Be unique. Don't say the same thing that everybody else is saying, like the generic, you should do funnels because everybody's talking about funnels. Why? Why should I? Why should this company do them? Why do you know that they're working in this space? What would you do to make it different? Just be unique. Come up with a new idea. It could be something like a new headline. It could be a new subject line. It could be a new article series, a new newsletter, anything that you could possibly think of, a new specific social media campaign, anything that you want to write for, you could come up with a new idea for it. The key with this is to make it easy for them to say yes. That Instagram account again, the Instagram idea again. She wrote that all out and then said, do you want me to start next month? I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think, well, what should we do on Instagram? She's already told me what we're going to do. She's going to run it. I don't have to think who I should hire for it. She's going to do it. She already has measurement tools in place of how she's going to measure her success. It was very easy for me to say, yes, we can start on September 1st. I don't need to think about anything. Sometimes copywriters and writers are so great, and I want to work with them so badly, but I'm very busy. At any given time, I am like multitasking. Kate and I were joking about this the other day that we're just not very good multitaskers because we were all over the place, and I made a couple mistakes yesterday because I was moving too fast. So I might talk to you and say, oh, I still want to work with you. But then my day is just full of fires and people who need me and things that are done now and deadlines and all this other stuff. And I might not think about you again until 2 o'clock in the morning and think, oh, I never got back to her. I'll get back to her tomorrow. Except for that tomorrow is a whole other day of fires and deadlines and things happening. So the easier you can make, if I have to come up with a way for us to work together, that's going to take a lot longer. But if you come up with a way and just say, all you have to say is yes, that's easy. I don't have any, ask any questions. It's easy because I can just say, I see the value. I want this. Yes. 2 real examples of new ideas. Those of you who know Mindy McCourse, she's now the editor or the executive editor for Barefoot Writer. She started with a new idea. We were at boot camp quite a few years ago. For those of you who are Wealthy Web Writer members, you might remember this. We had a reality blog over on Wealthy Web Writer. She had made about $30,000 from her copywriting and had decided that's it. I'm going for 6 figures. I want to be it. I want to be that person who is a success story at 6 figures. I don't want to pretend. I don't want to just, limp around in this writing thing. I want to go for it. And I think that if I was held accountable publicly, it would help me, and I think it would help your members because they could see someone really going through it. What it takes, how much I'm putting myself out there, what's working, what's failing. And so she said, I'll report back every week. I'll set up the week saying this is what I'm going to do this week. I'll report back saying this is how it worked out. This is what didn't work. And at the end of the year, I will hopefully have made $100,000. And so I said, that's great. I love this idea. It's so new. And I had this idea in my head about, wouldn't it be so cool if we had a reality TV, reality programming about becoming a copywriter. So it was just this perfect, hey, here's this great new idea and how we're going to do it. She made it very easy for me to say yes. She showed me her writing, so I knew I could trust her as far as delivering every week and that she'd be a good writer. And so we said yes. And that year in December, it was December 28th, she hit $105,000 and whatever it was. She just barely made it. And I remember on the 20th, she wasn't there yet. And we were all getting a little bit nervous that she wasn't going to make it, but she did. And so she documented all that. It was such a cool idea. And, now look what's happened to her now. Not only did she have that contract for that year, she extended it for a follow-up year, what happens after 6 figures. So she wrote it a whole other year. And then from there, she just kept taking on more and more assignments with us. And when Katie and I had a need for an editor of Barefoot Writer, who did we call? Someone that we knew could deliver great content month after month after month. So we called Mindy. Same thing with 3-Minute Guru, also over on Wealthy Web Writer. Henry Bingaman said, it's great that you guys talk about stuff, but web is so visual for some people, how to use this tool. How do you use key phrase research tool? How do you create a text box in your document? How do you research PPC ads? All of this stuff. He said, what if we just did screen captures for 3 minutes? And just showed them so that whenever somebody needed something, one of the benefits of Wealthy Web Writer is that you can ask for anything that you need. So let's say you're working on a project and we don't have the thing that you need to do that project. You can ask for it and we'll create it for you. We create the content, we bring in the expert, we might create a webinar or a 3-Minute Guru video. And that's where 3-Minute Guru came from. And so he started it and then he handed it off to someone named Jim Wright, who was just in our space. He was a great contributor on Wealthy Web Writer, participating in the comments. So when we needed someone, we turned to him, and he's now become our new 3-minute guru, but again, just a simple idea that was so easy to say, yeah, let's give it a shot, let's try. So that landed Henry a contract back then, and he's now he's on his way to 7 figures. We met him at the Web Intensive as well, and he is just such a great AWI success story. Went from being a flight attendant, he came to the Web Intensive, and he paid $5,000 because he missed the early bird. He paid $5,000 to come to this event. He went home, and they offered him a flight to Germany, and he thought, you know what, I could land a client in that same amount of time and make a ton more money than I could taking that flight. And so he said no. He quit his flight attendant job, and then his goal, he decided was he wanted to be a millionaire by 30, and he's very well on track to be a 7-figure operator now. So pretty exciting story. So why was the new idea?
Rebecca, Henry's actually here, and he was one of those amazing speakers that I was talking about, and he is 7 figures. And he hires copywriters now. He trains copywriters. He has a really amazing career.
Great. Yeah, he's an awesome story, and again, he started in his young 20s. He was just a youngin' when he came. So why does it work? It's a new idea. It's something new. I didn't have to think of it. You brought it to me. It shows your expertise. You've given thought, and it makes it very easy for the client to give you a shot, right? It's easy for me to say, yeah, let's try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. I think it's a good idea, and you made it easy for me to try it out, so I don't really have to do anything. So, yeah, I'll give you a shot. So that is the new idea. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to you, Katie, so that you can talk about our 4th great way to get your foot in the door.
Okay, and I was just answering a question from Diane, who was explaining that PPC means point per click, and I was just saying that actually it means pay per click, and what that means is the marketer, the company that owns the ad, gets paid every time somebody clicks on it. So I just wanted to be sure that we're giving the right information out there. Okay, so let's talk about spec assignments. You hear that term a lot, especially in AWAI. We have had countless, literally, people that have started their career with spec assignments. So we are a believer in them, that they are an effective way to get potential clients' attention and to start these wonderful relationships that Rebecca's talking about. So what they are, it's an offer to write sales copies for no upfront fee, with the understanding that if the marketer uses it, you will be paid for it. Now, it can be just a headline and lead, or a full letter, or just an idea. Basically, hey, I'm going to give you, it's like what Rebecca was talking about. I have this great idea. I want to write it for you. Will you hire me to do it? And a lot of times the marketers say, yeah, let's see. I think it sounds good. We'll give it a shot. But they're not going to actually commit until they see it. And at that point is when you talk about fees and royalties and payments. They're a great way to get your foot in the door, like I said. They show that you understand the company, their products, and their prospects. If you've gone to the idea to actually write a headline and lead for somebody, or actually come up with this idea, it means that you're one of them, you get them, and it shows how much you want to write for them. Now, what they aren't, this isn't the way to run your business forever. This really is like a one-time thing, and no marketers would expect you to do it more than once for them. If you present them with a spec idea, they say, great, let's test it. They test it, you get paid. It works, fantastic. Even if it doesn't work, but they like working with you and like what you did, all future payments, all future projects will be paid. Some people get nervous about the whole idea of like, oh, I'm going to be sending my ideas to them, and what if they steal them, or what if, somehow it goes south in a way. And it's funny because we this very conversation with John Ford, who's a master copywriter, been writing for well over 20 years, one of the leading copy writers as well as copy coaches, copy chiefs at Agora. And we were talking about this in our advanced training program just on Wednesday. And what he said, which is really standard, standard operating procedure as far as this goes, and really solid advice. He's like, before you send the actual spec to a publisher, make contact, have already established that relationship, and let them know you're a copywriter who has an idea for one of their products. You don't actually send the actual idea to them until you've heard back that they're interested, and if they are, you pitch the concept, and possibly send some writing, and then start the project. So you should think about specs kind of the way that Rebecca talked about earlier. Is this is just one other way of starting a relationship, bringing something to the table, and with the intention on both sides, that with the hope that it's going to lead to more. Now, if you hear about any specs from AWAI, we've already done that part of the work for you. All the specs that we offer, the clients already are open and receptive to receiving specs, and they understand that if it's something that they work with, then they'll be paying you and it'll work it out. But if you're going to somebody that hasn't put forth a spec idea themselves or isn't part of our world, like for instance, everybody at job fair, they get the whole spec situation, then you should ask them first if they want to receive something, and maybe give them a little bit of a tease or give them some piece of your idea. You want to give it enough to make it intriguing for them, but you want to protect yourself as well. Another question that came up that some of you may be having about specs, well, what if I give a company an idea and they choose not to use it? Can I offer that to another company? And, absolutely you can. I think that you document, that you've sent this. They say, no, thank you. Okay, thanks so much. I'll keep you in mind for some other ideas or some other things. But then you certainly can present it to somebody else in that space, one of their competitors. Where to find them? Like I said, job fair. This is going to be October 22nd. It's part of our big boot camp. It's really become one of the highlights out of many highlights. There's going to be over 40 companies there. They're all coming to meet you. It's like a cocktail party situation too. We've tried not to make it as expo-like as possible. We try to make it as fun and comfortable and easy and effective for both the writers who come and the marketers who come. But they're all coming. They're looking to find new talent, and the way that most of them choose to start that process is through spec assignments. So that's where you can find the most, you're going to get the most bang for your buck as far as where to find them. Many of our programs offer specs because in all of any program that we ever put together, we always get the best experts, obviously. And we are so confident in the skill building that you receive. There's no doubt if you go through any of our products, you're going to know how to do that particular skill. But we also know that what's equally important to you is, okay, how do I then make money with this skill? How do I find clients? So we always dedicate, just as much time and energy to that part of this equation as well. And oftentimes, there are specs included in many of our programs. as you're going through the steps that Rebecca went over as far as finding prospective clients or any of the clients that you find that you want to write for, pitch them. And like John said in our conversation about this on Wednesday, you don't want to give it all away at that point. You want to make sure that they're open to receiving it and that they're on board with that process. But you do it in a positive, professional way, and I think you'll get more yeses than nos. You can go the full Monty here and create your own opportunity, and by actually writing a full sample and sending that. My only hesitation there would be, again, just making sure that the person that you're sending it to is open to receiving it. Now that gets us to who do you send it to. When you're doing any kind of prospecting work, when you're looking for potential clients, you want to find who actually works with the copywriters within the organization, who buys the copy, who mentors the copy, who is responsible ultimately for the copy. And a lot of times you can, just call and ask or send an email. You might want to start with the marketing director, depending on the size of the company. It could be the president, it could be the CEO, it could be somebody in their publishing or editorial or whatever that is. It may take a little bit of investigative work, but it's worth it because you want to be sure that you're talking to the right person. You want to make it easy for the marketer. Like Rebecca was saying, don't make them have to think too much about the logistics, about how this is going to work, about, what steps they need to take. Basically, hi, I've got this great idea. It's something along these lines. I'd love to write something for you, and I'm happy to do it on spec. If you don't like it, no obligation, but if you do like it, it'll be the start of a great relationship. Obviously not those words, but that intent. Here's what I'll do, here's how I'll do it, here's when I'll do it. You just want to have there not be any questions when the marketer reads this. They're going to know exactly what they're going to get, when they're going to get it, what the expectations are all around. And this work is all done in your cover letter. I can't stress enough that this really is, these cover letters, when you're reaching out, having any communication with any potential client, that's the most important sales copy that you'll write, honestly, because that's what gets things going, and that's what's going to get their attention, and that's what's going to start the relationship. So definitely treat any correspondence with potential customers as sales efforts. And that doesn't mean put on your salesman hat. That means use the things that we teach you in our programs to structure and create and write a very personal, persuasive letter that leads to the action that you want, which is for them to give you a shot. Then you have to follow up. And this is always, there's not a set rule. You have to use your social skills, your social instinct, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, what's too much, what's enough. The woman that Rebecca was referring to that made the Instagram proposal, I think she may have followed up maybe once a month for the, until we actually said, yes, this is what we want to do. Always very polite, and it wasn't that over that many months. Maybe she followed up twice over 2 months, and then the ball started rolling, and it happened much quicker. And when you follow up, if you have something to offer, maybe if you read an article of interest having to do with their industry, or you saw something that is important to their customers or something relevant. Include that as well too. Just short and sweet. Maybe was thinking, wanted to follow up, and by the in addition to that, here's something that might be of interest to you. Again, this is all about relationship building. How would you woo a potential romantic interest? How would you woo a new friend? How would you like to be treated yourself? All goes back to the golden rule. Everything in copywriting goes back to the golden rule. Another way to find little gold mines of potential clients is trade shows. If you want to write for the gardening industry and the National Gardening Association is having a trade show, that would be a good place for you to go, because not only is everyone there all about interested in gardening, talking gardening is, part of this world. They've spent money to be there, and they're there to improve their businesses. There's the attendee side, there's the speaker side, so there's so much to learn, there's so many potential opportunities there for you to connect and network and be part of the conversations and the industry itself. But there's then also all the companies that come and exhibit, that sponsor, that sell. They're all there spending marketing dollars. They're all there to get customers from the people that are there. They all need copywriters. So, that's a great way to do that. And there's local, there's trade shows, but then there's also other types of organizations, even just your Chamber of Commerce. If you're interested in, writing for local businesses, or if it's some passion or hobby group, again, wherever there's a gathering of people, if it's online or if it's physical in person, there's probably commerce going on there in some extent. There's opportunities for copywriters, and this is just another way of immersing yourself in the world, showing your interest, and having opportunities that you just can't find anywhere else, I think is basically. Another thing about these kind of meetings, if it is, local or regional or national or, no matter how big they are, everyone is coming with the intent of making connections. That's what everybody's there for. So it's not awkward or unusual to start talking about what you do and what you can do for them. So I think that's about it as far as specs and trade shows. Happy to answer any questions. Just to end, though.
There's still some more, Katie. Are you advancing the slides or no?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, so we went over this one. So about trade shows, there's, the money that's being spent there. The people are all there expecting to have these kind of conversations. They're looking to grow their businesses. They're looking to have problem solved. And it puts you as a colleague. You're one of this group. You're one of this tribe that are here to learn more, to be part of whatever the topic is. Again, it's going back to the gardening thing. Just imagining all the different levels of needs and opportunities that could be at something like that. Great way to demonstrate your value. You're there because you want to learn. You're there because you have information to share. And a great way to start conversations and sets you up to be a problem solver. Because that's what every single one of these examples, that's what being a copywriter for a company is. It's being a problem solver. And any way that you can set yourself up to highlight that that's what you offer is a great thing. So once you're there, you obviously you want to try to meet as many people as you can. You want to participate, go to the exhibit halls, go to the meetings, the breaks. You want to just like this is what happens at boot camp. It's so weird. It's not so weird. It's just so prevalent, and it's what people don't necessarily take into account is all the conversations that happen outside of even just the meeting room, outside of job fair. While those are great places, there's the coffee breaks, there's the riding in the elevator. You know, immersing yourself in any dedicated world for a couple days is just opportunities appear that you're not even expecting, and it's just very organic, and it makes it fun. If you know you're going and you have access to the materials, the agenda, the trade show exhibitors, you know, get the list. And if there's any that you're interested in, set up meetings beforehand. Do your homework beforehand. Learn as much about them as you can. Come prepared with some ideas that are going to get them excited. You want to talk to as many people as well also to find out where their needs, what they're excited about, what they're concerned about, where are there any holes, and then figure out who you could take them to turn that into opportunities for companies that sell to these folks. Okay, more ways to get your foot in the door.
And so these are the quick ones. If you don't like the long, you know, those all take a little bit of extra time. And I'm going to post 2 extra bonuses. One is how to use that money-making website. I go into a lot of detail. I did like a 45-minute webinar specifically on that one. I also did one on trade shows. Those of you who are in professional industries, especially if you're in B2B, if the trade show idea excites you, I literally go step by step by step how to create this opportunity for yourself within just a single trade show. So we'll post those on the playback for this event afterward. These are more like your fast ways.
Yeah. So when you're on a website, in a forum of a company that you like, comment on their content. That's how Charlie Byrne, who is now the senior copywriter for the Oxford Club, got started. He commented on a blog that Mark Ford wrote. At the time, it was Early to Rise that he had started that. Mark liked what he saw. He said, hey, you're a writer. They like the exchange of ideas. One thing led to another, and now he's got this fantastic position. So comment on the content, but then also participate in the groups and forums. AWAI has wonderful groups and forums, and we take notice of that. We see who's active, who's not, who's helpful, and those are people that we often turn to get more involved with the company and to do writing for us.
Steve Marr is a perfect example. He runs our LinkedIn group now, but the reason he has that job is because he was over on our Facebook page commenting and just being a great, helpful member. So when we needed a community leader, we're like, hey, well, how about Steve Marr? He's already doing it anyways, and so now he gets paid for it. So that's great.
Exactly. And whenever you can submit ideas for content, if it's on a blog, if it's for their publications, if it's for their website, if anywhere that you see that they need current, new, different content, be their guy, be their girl, be the source for that. Just look at everything from this whole from this whole perspective of where can I contribute, where can I add to the conversation, to the value, and start from that place. That's a real place of strength, and that's a place of need. And it's like there aren't many companies that I could think of that wouldn't say, thank you for that effort. And even if it's not something that we need now, it definitely puts you in good graces. Another interesting way is actually find the person who is the champion of a product or a service, and ask for a referral, how you can get to know them, how you reach out to them, let them know how you feel about this and that you want to participate in somehow. Another way is, if you're calling and saying, finding out who writes the copy or who manages the copy or who is this. If you find that out from somebody, when you let's say you call the editor of a newsletter, and you're saying, listen, I really want to write copy for this company, and he says, well, I'm more on the editorial side. You want to talk to Sue Smith in marketing. She's the copy chief. Well, when you contact Sue Smith, say, I was just talking to editor Bob, and he said I should contact you. And you can use that example in a lot of different ways, but the idea is that if there is some connection, if there is some name recognition that you can use to get started, that's all fair, that's all good games. That's all good tactic to use. You might want to write a sales letter about yourself. You're the product. For some people, it is hard to write about themselves like they would about somebody else, but maybe if you form a buddy group within AWAI, you could write it about each other. Or, you can think of different creative ways to do that where it's not just you bragging about yourself. It's a valuable piece of sales material that you have available. But I would take the effort to do this, and I would treat it very seriously. This is your most important product to sell. When you're starting these conversations, and this goes across the board for all these different opportunities that we're talking about, you want to keep in mind you're starting a relationship. You don't want to come on too strong. You don't want to jump ahead of things. You just want to start a conversation. You're building a relationship. This is a long-term deal. This is, you're going to walk, not run. All of those little cliches. You always want to be showing your value. You want to be professional. You want to show that any conversation with you, the marketer, the person that you're talking about, comes away thinking, wow, that was a good use of time. Because time is really marketers' most valued commodity. There's just not enough of it. So you want them to feel good about that 10, 15 minutes, whatever, and walk away with some plan or idea or product, something of value. And, you don't want to be pushy. Nobody likes to be pushed. Nobody likes to be bullied. Nobody likes to deal with rude people. It's just a fact of life. Do your research. Know the company that you're talking about. Know that, if you have an idea, do your best to make sure it's not something that they've already tried that hasn't worked. Or if it hasn't worked, maybe you have some ideas as to why. Know who they market to. Know that they maybe don't market to certain groups, or they do market to certain groups. Understand what the products are about, and just do as much research as you can. And then also do research in the industry as a whole, not just the company itself, but the industry as a whole, so you have some perspective as to where they're headed or where they're thinking or what else is going on. You want to customize your message. Rebecca mentioned this. Nobody likes to get, dear sir, dear madam, or these kind of canned letters that could be written to anybody. You want to know who you're talking to, and you want to follow up in a respectful, professional way, but keep on doing it basically till you're told not to. first impressions are crucial, although I want to say that that's not necessarily the case with specs. A lot of people, especially when people are sending specs in with us, they're afraid that if we don't accept the spec, that they're put on like a blacklist or a bad list. And I'll tell you, we do get a lot of specs, and I really only remember the ones that I want to work with. I don't remember the ones that don't make the cut. And so don't let that scare you. When you're having in-person conversation, you definitely want to make a good first impression. But if it's, you know, any of the specs at job fair or through us, don't let that stop you, the fear of it not being accepted. Remember, you're just trying to get your foot in the door and start a conversation, and this is really big. We put so much focus on this first one, but like we've been saying, this is a long-term relationship. So once you get started, you always want to be thinking about what's next, what else can I do, what else can I add, and making sure that you're kind of priming that pump for your next assignment. There's you know, quite a few ways of doing that, which we go over in the accelerated program and some of the other more specific client building programs that we offer. But you do want to be thinking about that. You know, it's not impossible to turn a three-part article into a three-part article plus a three-part follow-up plus a webinar at the end or something like that, or to turn a simple landing page into 4 or 5 other pieces, or an email into a full sales letter. You do want to be thinking this isn't just kind of one and done. You want to keep being the resource that they go back to when they need more. All right, I think that's it. I do feel like we covered a lot in a pretty short period of time, and we could go on for definitely longer about different ways people have gotten started, but these are definitely the most effective. Do we have any other questions we want to talk about as a group?
I just have a couple of notes. You know, just one thing we didn't even think about. We talked about job fair at boot camp, or specs at job fair, but really job fair is such a great way of getting your foot in the door. Somebody was asking me who's going to be there. We've posted all the companies, and this year it's like job fair is going to sell out before boot camp, like as far as people wanting to attend. It's so exciting. But whether you do a spec or not, all of those companies, for those of you coming to boot camp and job fair this year, all of those companies want to meet you. In addition to that, so your foot is already at the door whether you do a spec or not. You can walk up to them, you can talk to them, they're expecting to meet with you, they're there to meet with you. In addition to that, somebody asked a question about, will any B2B companies be at job fair? Typically not. There might be a couple of B2B companies, but what's more important about coming to boot camp if you're B2B is that our B2B experts will be there. This year, Steve Swanwick will be there, Ed Gandia, Michael Cass, Gordon Graham. They've asked us to attend this year because they want to be there. They've all hired AWI copywriters to take on work for them. None of them, they're all at capacity. So taking on additional clients really isn't an option, and a lot of times they're asked to do assignments in areas that they don't have any expertise in and don't really want to get into. So they come to our events to get to know AWI copywriters so that they can refer work out. Gordon Graham literally hired, we had a live B2B intensive where we were in person. He literally hired 3 people before he even left. So in 3 days, he had hired 3 writers to write for him on other assignments. So for those of you who are B2B coming to boot camp this year, we will have a B2B meetup so that you can meet these guys and tell them what your niche is in B2B and how you can help them, what project types you're taking on, so that they know. So think of them as job fair candidates as well, because they have just companies are contacting them every day to take on work, and they just can't. So that's a great opportunity for you. I also wanted to answer a question about newsletters. Somebody had just purchased the newsletter program this week, and how do you find clients in that space? Again, I'm going to post 2 recordings, both the Tradeshow one as well as money-making websites, and we're also going to post our picking a niche and getting clients inside AWI playback. So those will all be, I'll give you all that on Monday, as well as the slides from this session. But in that newsletter program, Michael Katz actually shows you how to reach out to clients. That one is very simple because you're going after service providers. So CPAs, accountants, dentists, veterinarians, anyone who has a business where they are providing a professional service, they're candidates for you. And so he shows you how to present your newsletter writing service. It's a great idea to have, similar types of clients so that you're not writing about veterinarian issues one day and then dental issues another day and then accounting issues another day. It's a lot easier if you can just write about dental issues and have 6 dental clients and then, have the same type of newsletters for all of them. So he does cover that in the program. He also is recording an extra bonus interview where Charlotte, who's our editor of B2B Writing Success, is going to just dive in a little bit deeper. So what do you do when you call them? How do you present yourself? How do you discuss the fees and what to expect and all of that? So if you bought the newsletter program or you're in that program, it's a little bit different again because you're going to be talking to the dentist. You're going to be talking to the veterinarian, not a company. It's a little bit different, but he covers all of that in the program. So whether you have it or you're thinking about it, it's all there. So don't worry about that. Tony wants to know when we're coming to Australia. Hopefully soon. That would be awesome. I am in. My kids are in too. They would love, we can just make that flight. Australian Writers and Artists, Inc. It has a nice ring, AWAI. I see something coming there.
Exactly. Wouldn't have to change the logo.
I write in the fundraising niche. What else could you add that would be helpful to this niche? As far as getting your foot in the door with fundraising companies, being a believer in the charity is great. So if you have a cause that's close to your heart, writing a great story about your experience or your passion, having a website that focuses on your desire to give back and to help, anything like that, that's all phrasing that would be attractive to fundraisers. Any nonprofit, their ultimate goal is keeping their nonprofit up. It's whether it's having enough food to keep the food bank stocked, whether it's helping 20,000 kids get shoes this year, whatever their goal is. And this is business 101 as far as like working as a cooperator with companies. Always be thinking about, remember I said what their intention is. The minute you can tie to their intention is what they're trying to do, what are they trying to accomplish. Even profit businesses, yes, there's a bottom line, but for us, our intention is to turn out as many successful working writers as we can each year. We want the more success stories, the more money people are making, the more opportunities that are out there, and people saying, yes, I'm doing it, I'm living the life. That's our intention. So we want things like this, like why do we do these sessions to help you get your foot in the door? We need you to succeed. It's a cliche, but if you succeed, we succeed. It makes our job a lot easier. So that's our intention. So the minute you can tie an intention, whether it's profit, nonprofit, just think about what are they in business for? What are they trying to do? And then keep your messaging attached to that intention, everything that you do. You could do the audits, for example, for a nonprofit. Hey, I noticed you're not sending out emails. Why not? I'm an email writer. I'm very, I love your charity. I volunteer with Habitat for Humanity every chance I get. My church has we just built a house last Sunday. Whatever the thing is, I would love to write emails for you. I know that, and then here's some stats on how effective they are. Other charities are using them. I'd love to build an email program for you. It's the same thing. It's just, again, tying it, making it relevant to their business.
Okay, lots of questions about boot camp. So just briefly, it's October 19th through the 22nd. It's in Delray Beach, Florida. This will be our 19th year of doing them, or it's our 19th, I don't know. It's a lot. We've done a lot. And job fair is that Friday. It's the Friday afternoon. And if it's your first time coming, we have a little prep session. But it's very exciting and in some cases intimidating, but it's friendly. We make it as fun as possible. There's so many AWAI staff members there that are with the goal to make it easy for you and to help you out if you need an introduction, if you need any kind of that kind of support. So I mean that's that part of it. But boot camp as a whole, there's over a dozen top experts giving their best secrets. There's emphasis on the business building part as well as the skill building part. There's, going to be probably 500 AWAI members there. So just how cool is that, just to be part of this group that gets what you're doing, why you're doing it. They're either right where you were or further down the path. I'm at this conference with Clayton, and such a big theme of it from all of the successful copywriters is paying it backwards and paying it forward. And I just love it. We see that so often, and that's such a big part of AWAI. The people who are successful, they give props, they give help, they want to pass on what was passed on to them. So they do it in all kinds of different ways. I think, we have plenty of information. Rebecca, have we posted a link about job fair?
It's I'm trying to come behind you on your Q&A. It's awaibootcamp.com.
Okay, great.
I'm posting it wherever you answered.
I see Peggy's asking, how does someone submit a spec to AWAI? Oh, Rebecca, you got that? Okay. Rebecca put the link there. It's www.awaiionline.com/10K. However, if you are coming to boot camp, there are additional specs for boot camp people, and those will go to a different address, and that address will be provided to you once you're all registered, and you'll have all that information. And it's really fun at boot camp.
I was going to say those specs are, so while normal specs, you're sending them in and we're going through them quickly to see, is there an idea here, is there an idea here? The specs that you submit at boot camp are reviewed by our panel. So you're getting in front of, 5 or 6 people who are, it's not even just the person looking at the spec submissions, but it's all of our, we might send them to Mindy for Barefoot Writer, Heather might review them for Wealthy Web Writer. Even though they're for AWAI, when you're submitting in the specs, our spec panel of reviewers, everybody is reviewing, and all of them hire copywriters. So it is a really kind of a great opportunity to get in front of a lot of people who can hire you. Sorry, Kate, what were you going to say?
Oh, just that we pay people. Yes, we hand out checks. Those specs, we actually hand out checks at boot camp. It's part of the last day. We have a big, kind of a award ceremony. And usually there's at least, I don't know, we've been handing out more and more checks every year. And then you'll work with our marketing team on the idea. Kat is wondering, at job fair, are the companies there expecting people who don't have experience? Yes. All the marketers come are very familiar with AWAI, and they know that there is a range of experience level, and that isn't a deterrent, because a lot of times it's not just sales letters that they're looking for. It doesn't have to be complete sales letters. It's other smaller, kind of easier to get started writing projects. And also, they know that whoever they hire, whoever they work with, a lot of times there is an investment of time and training involved, and they are prepared to work with newer, inexperienced people that they feel have potential.
We're getting some very specific questions. I'm just going to answer this one out loud because it's going to be hard to answer as typing. Jeannie says, as a person who has taken care of disabled persons for 24 years, how do I get to write to hotels or resorts on how to make their venues more accessible for travelers? It really depends on your intention. If you're trying to get someone to pay you to do that kind of writing, you would write for companies who would build ramps, who would outfit, disabled bars and showers, who would outfit the properties for disabled. So you would write for those companies. You would go to them and promote yourself as somebody who wants to be in this space. So companies who are targeting hotels to supply them with the tools and services to allow it to be a more friendly destination. If you're looking for it to just make change as far as writing hotels to hopefully just encourage them, that's just, if you're not looking to get paid for it, then you would go directly to the hotels and just try to, make a change. And that's definitely, it all depends on your intention. Tamara, if you can revise your question, it says you wrote, it's come up, I'm looking into some potential garden design and work for a nonprofit community center for the elderly. I thought I might add some kind of writing work on the side to help out as well for a testimonial thought. I'm not quite sure if you're asking me about adding in writing in addition to those other business opportunities, or if you're looking to maybe niche into one of those things. So I'm going to answer the question as far as doing work in exchange for a testimonial, which I don't think that's what you're asking, so feel free to rephrase it, but people do have that question because it comes along with specs. Do you write copy? Can you write copy in exchange for testimonial? And absolutely. It goes back to what Katie was saying about specs, though. You always have an end in sight. So I'm going to write copy for free in exchange for testimonials for 3 companies. Once I have 3 companies, then I'm not going to do that anymore because I have what I need. It's a marketing strategy. You're doing it, or I'm going to write 3 things so that I can get some confidence in samples, and then once that's done, or I'm going to write for a spec until I land 2 paid clients, and then I'm not going to write on spec anymore. Always have that intention of when there's an end so that you're not you don't get stuck in this easy, comfortable place, but you're not actually making a living as a writer. You know, AWI is all about helping you get freedom, financial freedom, make real money as a writer. So we want to be intentional about our strategies of what we're doing. So yes, you can write for a testimonial, but you know, there needs to be an end to that. Once you have a few, you don't need to do that anymore.
Oh, well, we're getting so much wonderful, you know, very, very kind, enthusiastic thank yous. And so I just want to say to everybody, thank you for taking the effort to write that. It means a lot to us. And I think you can tell Rebecca and I love doing this. It's not, you know, these are, AWAI is our passion. And we are inspired by you. You're why we do what we do and why we keep challenging ourselves to figure out new and better and different ways to help you succeed. So thank you for appreciating this, and we're going to do more and more of these. So, okay.
I want to answer. I see this one that says, you're telling quite a complicated path to get clients, but in some previous programs, Joshua was saying it was possible to get clients just by sending emails. What is more appropriate? Yeah, totally do that. This is, so what we covered today, that's called warm email prospecting. You can totally just send emails. I've done a whole session on how to research clients. I think we linked to it on one of our, I think on the Getting Clients one, which will be on this page when you get this recording, but you can totally just research companies online on Google. And I've showed you how to do that in past INSIDE AWAIs. I think I showed you on that session. Research companies in your industry and then reach out to them directly and try to sell directly. What I'm recommending, though, is adding a little bit more value. So when you email them, don't just say, hey, I'm an SEO copywriter and I'd like to optimize your site, but maybe take it a step further. I'm going to take the email that says, I looked at your homepage and your key phrases are optimized incorrectly, or just something that's relevant, or I have this great idea for you. It's not overly complicated. These are just different ways of getting your foot in the door. Some people aren't comfortable cold calling. Some people want to have a little bit more control. They know that they want to work for these 3 companies, and so they really want to have control in getting in there. So we're just giving you a variety of ways to get in. Again, like I said at the beginning, the best marketing method is the one that you're actually going to do. And I learned that from Joshua. So by all means, email away.
Okay. Jillian, I'm finishing up the accelerated program. Excellent. I'm signed up for Nick's web training starting on 8/17. Excellent. I want to also do Josh's training starting 8/15. Do you see any conflicts, issues? You know, it's time management. If these all support each other, if you can do them, I think that it's fabulous. You're going to have different pieces of this bigger puzzle. Know that everything is recorded too, so if you can't hit a certain day at a certain time, it will be available to you. But I think you're hitting, you know, the accelerated program is your foundation. You've got that. That's fantastic. Nick's web program is going to introduce you, show you a lot of the how-tos and the best practices for a lot of the projects that you'll probably be working on, you'll be exposed to, you'll be asked to do. And Joshua is going to help you find the client. So I say more power to you. I think it's definitely doable. Lori's asking, how about how to negotiate your fees? Oh boy, that's a whole big conversation as well. Is there a particular place where you show that on your site, or is that something you can answer here?
We have an awesome program on it. Elise Bennett is like the best as far as negotiating. Negotiating is one of those things that you're just going to get more comfortable with. It's not easy at first because it's so foreign to you if you've never done it before. But a lot of it is just, a lot of it's in your own head, confidence, understanding your value, understanding what the client needs, what's the value of the project to them, understanding the scope of the project. And Elise does a fantastic job of going through all that. Bob Bly does not negotiate his own fees. She negotiates for him, so she really understands this. I've had to negotiate with her to get Bob to work with us, and she really knows her stuff. So we do have some stuff. If you just type in the word, go to our AWI website, has so much free content. If you just go there and type in the word negotiation or pricing, you're going to find a bunch of stuff on there. But if you do want, direct help, because again, it depends. There's no right answer. It depends on who the client is, what the project looks like, if you've worked with them before, how big the project is, how much is it worth to them. There are things that go into negotiating. So it's great to have somebody who can help you navigate all of that. She even goes through, I did some simulations with her where we recorded them. So we had these different scenarios, and she would like, ring, ring, hi, it's Elise Bennett, and she would go through it, and I would be the client, and we would role play kind of what you would do in the event of someone saying, well, that's too expensive, or, it's kind of, it was a really neat way to learn how to price projects. I'll post that.
A couple people have just asked about, are college degrees necessary? Will the marketer, the job fair, be expecting you to have a degree? The answer is no, and we have probably just as many copywriters who do have college degrees that don't, or have a college degree but aren't using them. They're in some field that's totally unrelated. It is all about the quality of your work, the quality of your ideas, and your professionalism. That's what's going to get you wherever you want to go in this business. Nobody at once asked nobody's going to ask you what your GPA was, or if you.
I've never asked that ever. I've never even asked if anyone's gone to college. I really don't care. To me, it's the writing. You either can write or you can't. I want to work with you. If I want to work with you, I want to work with you whether you never finished high school or went to Stanford. Doesn't matter. Let's see. I can't find that question about how much does it cost for boot camp. There's actually, I don't know the price right now, but this is actually our last month of a deal. I want to say it's $500 off right now until the end of the month. So if you are going to come to boot camp, do not wait. Although it's probably going to sell out this month anyways. This is probably the fastest we've ever sold out boot camp. We're already right at the limit. So if you're coming to boot camp, definitely sign up. Those of you who are already registered, you're good to go. And know, though, that if you do sign up this month, this is the last month, there will be a discount. If we have any seats open next month, there won't be a discount anymore.
Terrence is asking, is self-help B2B or B2C, and do they have trade shows? Well, when you think about self-help, it's primarily, you think B2C, but every industry there is B2B activity that goes on. So you always just want to follow the money. Wherever money is being exchanged, if it's being exchanged ultimately with the customer, then it's B2C. But if it's being exchanged in any way to run the business, to create the products, to supply the products, then that's B2B. And I'm sure there are trade shows. It may be more by niche. I wouldn't, there's probably not just one big self-help, but it may be all, with niches within, like, career counseling or lifestyle coaches. They may have their own organization. Or health coaches, they may have their own. Or, people that meditation and yoga and all the spirituality things. Those are all, again, if you're thinking self-help, there may be some, even like yoga organizations or groups like that, there is an element of self-help involved in that. And if there are big gatherings, people that are interested in it, there will be companies that will be selling to those folks. So it's being a little bit of a detective and just going, you know, 1 or 2 steps beyond with the idea of following the money. If your passion is novelist, this seems like a great and fun way to support yourself while you're writing. Absolutely. Do you think they contradict each other? Oh boy, we've done a lot of webinars on this as well too, and we are firm believers, and we've seen it and we know it, that copywriting skills, persuasion skills make any type of writing better, either fiction, what, you know, it's any of that type of writing as well too. The same principles apply. It's all about persuading your reader to keep on reading, and what do you need to do to do that. And, you know, oftentimes people who are passionate about fiction and that type of publishing make the best copywriters, and copywriters certainly make great fiction writers as well.
Gosh, you guys type fast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought my voice was going to get a workout. My hands are getting a workout. So those of you who are asking about negotiating, again, remember the INSIDE AWAI website is always a great resource to start. You will type in the search bar. Just think about like the words that you're asking: negotiation, pricing, things like that. Type that into the search bar and you'll come, and we have thousands and thousands of pages. But I did put the program in the Q&A, and her name is Elise Benun, B-E-N-U-N, and so I'll post that as well just in case you want to search for articles specifically by her. Could you let these Q&A available? Kim, do we post the Q&As? Do you know?
I think we do. I'm pretty sure we do.
Great.
But we'll let Kim get back on. Yes. Also, as far as negotiating, I want to just say that it's not something you have to worry about right now. You know, cross that bridge when you come to it, because a lot of times that's the kind of thing that kind of becomes bigger and scarier than it needs to be, and it stops people from moving forward. Get the first client, then call us, and we'll walk you through it. We've done that more than, more times than we can count. Both Rebecca and I have gotten those calls. Oh my God, they said yes, now what? And we're like, okay, first of all, do a happy dance, let's get that out, and then let's take a deep breath, and then we move on. And a lot of times the client knows what they want to pay, and you can just ask them, well, what's your budget? And then you decide if that's what you want to do or not. There's not going to be a right or a wrong. There's not going to be a it doesn't have to be this adversarial. The whole client-writer relationship is not adversarial at all. It's very collaborative, and it's all aimed at the same goal of making the company more successful, of delivering the very best products and promotional copy, and it takes a team to do that. So don't worry about that till you have to. And when you're ready for that, it's gonna happen organically, I promise. Kind of lose the questions in the middle because they're coming so fast and furious.
No, I'm going from the top. I've been answering from the very, very top, so
I'll go from the beginning.
Well, that's awesome. I think we've answered all. Got a couple more about trade shows, and again, I literally walk you through, for those of you who are interested in that, I literally walk you through step by step just a strategy for approaching trade shows. I said this before in other sessions, but trade shows, if the company is there, they have big marketing budgets. Trade shows are the most expensive way to market your business. So if they're there, they've got good budgets, and so you want to approach them at a high, a professional level and assume that you're going to be working on bigger projects right out of the gate. So I walk through that strategy with you in that webinar.
Oh, I can't believe, Carmen, you're asking this. Are you serious? She's asking, are you ever too old to start? No. What do you think we're going to say to that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I think one of our oldest that I remember was, I can't remember if she was 90 yet or not, but it was awesome. She came to the web intensive, and the first web intensive we ever had was pretty intense. I mean, they're all intense. This will be our 10th one. But it was like we were talking about pay-per-click and search engine optimization and like big stuff. And she said she was there because she wanted to prove to her kids and her grandkids that there was a better way, and that if she could learn it at 90, and she might have been like in her late 80s, but if she could learn it at 90, then there's no excuse for them either. And then she came back to boot camp the next year and brought one of her daughters. She came back to boot camp the next year and brought another one of her daughters and one of her granddaughters, and like just introduced them to the world, saying, don't go down the path I went down. Go down this path instead. So it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. We've had kids who aren't even 18 yet be successful at copywriting as well. It's such a great opportunity for anyone. As long as you like to write and you like to read and you're nice to work with, you'll be fine.
All right, let's do it. Last call. Going once. Going twice.
That's fine.
Okay,
guys.
I think that's it. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you so much, everybody.
I love this. Sorry, Lisa and her daughter are doing this together. I love those stories. We have like money-making websites, same thing, where it's mom and daughter or mom and kids or full families doing the websites. It's just such a neat thing. Love this job. Okay, love you guys. Love Katie.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.